You have to get up pretty early to beat this guy to his job at Citytv. Meet the new co-host of Breakfast Television. That's next, after weather and traffic, at Brio TV, the podcast. Thanks for joining me. I'm your host, Bill Brio. You know, you have to smile when the right guy winds up in the right spot at the right time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would be Tim Bolen, who last month joined Dina Pugliese as the new co-host of Citytv's Breakfast Television. While Pugliese is actually returning to this job after a few years off, Bolen may be less familiar to viewers who live outside of the Greater Toronto area. For the past 13 years, however, and the past two as co-host, Bolen has been getting up early as part of the on-air team at CHCH's Morning Live in Hamilton. That's where I first met Tim, who grew up about an hour north of the Hammer and distinguished himself with his energy and good nature, covering all manners of community endeavors. When CHCH moved into their new studios just outside Hamilton 2 years ago, it was Tim who gave me the tour, proudly walking me through a true state-of-the-art facility. While Bolen loved that job, he could not turn down the offer to co-host a national morning show from Canada's largest city. We talk about all that, plus Bolen's nutty knack for living in Toronto and working in Hamilton and the other way around in a fun and friendly podcast conversation starting right now. Tim, how you doing?
Billy.
Okay, listen, let me just get set up here.
What's up, buddy?
Everything. You were, I just was watching you having fun on breakfast television there. And my goodness, Tim, pretty cool.
Crazy, huh?
Pretty cool. Yes. You know, you just an electric show. It's never stops moving. So you must be having tons of fun.
I think that's why they brought somebody like me on because they know I'll say no. They know that I won't say no to anything.
No, Tim, congratulations. Thrilled that this was a great opportunity has arrived for you. As I think you know, I got asked by, I think, CBC News, who should be the new co-host at Breakfast Television? And I said, well, there's only one choice. Tim Bolen. I saw this coming right up Broadway, buddy. So I'm just thrilled that it's worked out for you, and I'm sure you're having a lot of fun.
I appreciate that, Bill, because I did see that you mentioned my name. And listen, we have some history just doing stuff in the past at my old stomping grounds at CH. And just honored that people saw something in me to be on a national morning show and an iconic morning show like Breakfast Television. Because you always set goals in this crazy business, and the goal for mine was always to be on a national morning show. Mm-hmm. I always liked set that there, and then sometimes you just don't think it's going to happen, and just when it doesn't happen, something kind of comes up, and then you just kind of jump on it. So it's been really cool.
Well, you know, you had a pretty good reel. You had like a 13-year reel to show, right? And it certainly has worked out. But tell me, what is this? You started, I believe, like St. Patrick's Day, I think, right?
So it's been 2 weweeks.
Yeah,
on March 17th.
Is it what you anticipated? Is it operate similar to CH? What are the differences? What are the discoveries?
Yeah, it's a whole different world. My time at CH, I would never ever talk bad about my time there, because they're the ones that gave me opportunity like 13 years ago when I came and started the earliest morning show in Canada at 4 a.m.
Wow.
It was Morning Live first edition.
Yeah.
And my old news director, Mike Catrice, they wanted to kind of capitalize on those early commuters. So they saw something in me that I was brought on board. And then after that kind of morphed into a role within Morning Live. And then you just realize just what that show and what that channel means for that area of the province.
Yeah.
And what I also noticed too is from that show, there's people all spread across the country that are still kind of tapped into wanting to know what goes on in that community. And that's the power of local news too, right? When you tap into that and the pride in your hometown and what's going on, and just stories that need to be told that aren't normally told. So looking back on my 13 years there, it's just nothing but good times. Coming here to breakfast television, that just is the iconic brand for morning TV. It's above and beyond what my wildest dreams could be, and the support that I get from all the producers and from everybody on the floor, because it's a much bigger staff. You know what I mean? We were just a small team back in Morning Live, a small but mighty team, doing a lot of the lifting. Everybody's kind of doing everything. But here there's so many people that are in their roles, and they know their roles, and they do their roles really well, and just kind of stay in your lane and don't get in the way. And if you're doing something wrong, that's even better. Yeah. That's when you get the golden TV.
Well, and Tim, just going back to your very start at CHCH on the very early morning show, that's the ultimate definition of opening out of town. I mean, if you're coming on the air at 4 a.m., you could light yourself on fire. You imagine that was so much latitude in order to discover what you could do in the mornings, right?
Well, I think what you see now is a lot that I learned there in that time, because if you're making a screw up, or your mouth's not working, or you're not speaking English, people can see that, people can hear that, and you just have fun with it. Yeah. And that's who I've always aligned myself with, Bill. Like anybody that I see on TV that I've liked, that they're just real. They're not faking anything. They're just honest, true, good people that will look down the barrel of the lens and not even talk to everybody out there. They're talking to you specifically. And that's even what I try to do. And it started back then, where I'm looking down the lens and I'm saying good morning to specifically you, not to everybody in the room or anybody in the region, or now anybody across the country. You're just trying to connect with that one person.
Well, you had great mentors there as well in that regard, in terms of real people. I mean, with Annette Ham, of course, many years was the co-host of CHCH's morning show. Bob Cowan, the legend. Brian Wood, you look up Unflappable, right? There's that guy's picture. So pretty cool bench to be part of, right?
I tell you, and I'll correct you on Annette's last name, because she would slap you, Bill, because it's Hom, and everybody always gets it wrong, but she's always correcting you because it's Annette Hom.
I should know that. Thank you. Sorry.
But no, it's all good. It's all good. But if she was ever listening to this and I let that fly by,
thank you.
But we're pals. You know what I mean? Like she was my work wife. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I had a wife at home, and then I had a wife at work, and the relationship that we had and were able to develop over the years was something special. And I think you could see that through the show, that like correcting each other, and like there's no ill will or counting how many words somebody says, or somebody gets to talk more than somebody else. It's just that partnership that we had. And even with Bob coming in there and like slowly working my way to be Bob's fill-in and to watch what he's done, because he is the OG of that show. You know what I mean? He started that show over. They're going to be celebrating 25 years. I think it's next year, Bill.
That's great.
You know what I mean? And what that show means for that region. And he was there. I was there for over 2, so he was there for most of it. And to be able to watch him and how he does things, and then stepping in and not trying to fill his shoes and not trying to do what he was doing, but to bring your own personality, because that's what he brought. He brought his sense of humor and brought that light attitude to things. So it's just taking little pieces of the mentors that I had, and the last one would be Brian Wood, because there's nobody better in the biz than Brian. And I would always say, like, you could throw anything at him, no matter what, and he'd be able to bounce that ball somehow. Because sometimes you're tossing a ball out, you don't want that ball to fall to the ground, because then, I don't know, it kind of ruins things. But he's able to, no matter what you toss at him, he's going to be able to do something with, and do it eloquently, better than I could say it, and with that deep baritone. So what he also means to that station, that community, is pretty cool.
I think he once let me do the weather.
Did he?
Talk about risking everything. Yeah, a great bunch there, and fun that you got to experience this wonderful new playpen they built in Hamilton. This studio is one of the most impressive ones I've been in terms of a recent build. But here you are, Breakfast Television. You've got a brand new playpen there, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty. I've been just so privileged in my career, Bill, to be able to experience that and what that station means to me. And I know when you did come in there, and I think I took you a little tour around, and
you did.
It was always nice to have people come in and just see what Channel Zero was able to create.
Yeah,
because they know the investment of that station and what it means to that community, and then the longevity of it. Like it just needs to stay there. And that article that you wrote about the station is up on the bulletin board, and it was still there when I left, because they always like to be recognized, because sometimes, as we know, in that area, you got the big brother in Toronto, right? That's kind of getting a lot of the buzz for things, and then to be able to recognize that when people are coming in from the city and seeing what they're doing there, it's pretty cool.
We'll be right back with Breakfast Television's Tim Bolen right after this.
This month on Super Channel Fuse, check out the Canadian premiere of Night Sleeper, April 17th. In this wide-awake, 6-part thriller, hackers send a Glasgow to London train hurtling towards death and destruction, as two strangers then go to extremes to regain control before it's too late. Meanwhile, over on Super Channel Heart and Home, it's season 2 of When Hope Calls. This spin-off of the smash hit romantic drama When Calls the Heart stars Canadians Cindy Busby and Christopher Russell. She's the new lawyer in town on a mission. He's the Mountie who sees her as a person of interest. Before you can say good day, ma'am, courting ensues. Tune in for Night Sleeper and When Hope Calls, plus uncut, commercial-free movies galore this and every month on Super Channel, available via most cable providers across the country.
Here he is again, Citytv's morning man, Tim Bolen. Yeah, like I lived in Brampton for many years and moved to Orangeville about a year ago. Orangeville's a 30,000 place, but
I know Orangeville, buddy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just grew up down the road on Highway 9 there.
Where?
Yeah, in Wellington County. So I grew up in Kenilworth, right on Highway 6 between Arthur and Mount Forest. My parents are still there. That's the roots. That's
okay.
Where I come from. Yeah.
Okay, well, so that's awesome.
We're always going through Orangeville.
Lucky you, Tim. Well, I'm discovering this region, and it's endless. Erin and all these small towns. I mean, I always do Orangeville, but what's that crazy place that's about an hour from here? It's just nice to know you've got an hour's drive to Stratford, and it's on country roads. It's really wonderful up in this region. So lucky you. Did you go to school then around there?
So I grew up in Kenilworth, which is a farming town. And so went to elementary school there. But then I did get actually bused. I went to high school in Guelph, which was about a 45-minute bus ride in the morning.
Okay. Wow.
So that's kind of where even the early morning started, I think.
You got trained right away.
I had to be up at the crack of stupid back then. And we were farm kids too. So we were always up early because my dad was a hobby farmer. So we'd be doing chores in the morning.
Wow.
Because that morning thing is like, it's not for everybody. And people are always just flabbergasted, like what time you have to get up with and not only get up, but you have to be you have to have some energy and you have to be excitable and you have to be friendly and kind. And I think just some people are just meant to do it. And I'm just one of those people that I think I was just kind of destined to be in the role that I'm in now, which is just,
you are.
Yeah. It's just like when dreams come true and you just like, it's the imposter syndrome that people always talk about. It is true. Even when I was in here and then I was like sitting beside Dina, who's just such a legend in our business.
She's great.
And I get to just add her to the list of all the the great people that I've been able to work with. And she's just been a dream to be able to kind of develop our relationship, because we didn't know each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it all came together quickly about like, man, these two zany folks might be able to get along. And sometimes those personalities don't really work, but we've been able to do it. And it's just like, I just look forward how we can develop our friendship and our on-air personas.
It's working great right from the start. It was hilarious. She comes out as the morning moose, and
that's her idea, Bill.
That was pretty cute.
That's her idea. Like she wanted to do like the Masked Singer thing. You know what I mean?
It worked exactly right. And Devo, you've got all those guys there. Devo.
Well, I was going to say, can I mention about Devo? Because Devo's been he's just been fabulous, welcoming me in with open arms, just kind of an outsider he's been on the show for a long time. He knows Dina really well, but he's been just fabulous for me. But because nobody knew. There was a lot of rumblings that you had talked about, and a lot of people around here, but honestly, nobody knew about Dina for sure. Yeah. And there was like the memes of our floor director Noah with tears in his eyes to see Dina. But Devo always he's just like, who else is going to be in a moose costume? Come on! As soon as I saw the moose, I knew it was you, Dina, because who else would do that?
It was pretty cool. You mentioned this getting up early and everything, and now I think the biggest challenge would be to get up early to get into the middle of Toronto. I mean, the joke, Toronto's an hour from Toronto.
Sure.
Do you have to get up an extra hour? Or I guess at that hour, there's no one on the road. Actually, it's probably the best time to come to Toronto, isn't it?
Did you? I guess I've ever told you this story, because for all these years, I was a Toronto guy, right? Like after university, I moved to Toronto and lived here for over 20 years. And I was doing the commute from Toronto to Hamilton.
Oh my goodness!
For a dozen years, and I never really liked to talk about it really on air, because there is that little brother, big brother thing in Hamilton, and I never wanted to seem like I didn't like Hamilton or the surrounding community, or why I wouldn't want to live there. But my wife had her business, and she worked in Toronto, so it was just easier for me to make that commute in the morning.
Perfect.
So for 12 years, Bill, I did that commute along the QEW, and then in the summer, we're just like, my wife's job kind of changed, and we got 3 kids, and we're outgrowing our house that we lived in. And we're just like, maybe, maybe it is a time to uproot and head towards my full-time job that I figured that I'm going to be in. You know what I mean? So in June, we sold the house, and then we bought another house. And in September, we moved into Ancaster. So I live in Ancaster now.
Oh my God.
And then fast forward just like a few months, and then there's just talk, and there's opportunities that kind of present themselves, and so now I'm back to the commute on the QEW just the other way, Billy.
Wow. That is ironic,
but it is for me. I even use it as a prep time. Like people are just like, how do you commute in the morning? I've never minded it, just kind of getting caught up, because we do have to go to bed a little bit earlier, so you do need a little bit of prep in the morning. And we have our morning meeting, and as I'm driving in. So the drive in is never an issue. It is the drive out of the city that's is a little bit trickier. But still, I'm off hours, so it's never been.
This is it. If you have to make this commute, you have the perfect time to go in and out. I used to work at the Toronto Sun. I used to have to get from Brampton to Parliament and King every day. That was a nightmare, and it got worse and worse. And fortunately, they fired me in 2007 before the traffic got really, really bad. So
I've regretted it every day since, Bill. Come on.
I've always been grateful. You're dark and early on the road there, and then you're leaving at 10:30, 11, I guess, to come back. So perfect.
It's never really been an issue. And then even just driving home, it's just kind of a little wind down session.
Yeah.
But like the most important thing is the day is that delicious nap in the afternoon before the kids get home. Oh, it's good. And if I don't get it, Bill, Timmy's a little cranky when those kids get home. So like a good, like a little 45-minute little nap in there is just what the doctor ordered.
Do you golf?
I don't know. No, my wife is pretty happy that I don't golf, that I'm not away for 4 hours on the weekend. I
Right.
don't golf and I don't play video games. So that's just, she's like, don't pick up those habits.
Oh, good for you. That's cool. Yeah, it's when I was watching you as a viewer on the morning show on CH for sure. Many years you were the guy who was in the community at the event, exploring and promoting, and did it very, very well. That's a different job than you have now, but you must have enjoyed that part of that job too, right?
Well, what it is just connecting with people. And so you have the early morning hours, but you have to like people and you have to be interested in people and you have to look people in the eyes and not just asking the questions, but listening to what they're saying. Because a lot of the time, even people have never been on TV before and I'm talking to them and I'm used to having this big camera in my face. Some people are not used to that. So they're not themselves. So I think a goal in the role that we do is as a job as a co-host of the morning show is to be able to make that comfortability there. And I think I've just been, and that's just been instilled in me going back to like when I was a kid, and just my parents have just always been good at communicating with people. And that communication aspect for any people that are interested in this business, it's just like, it is the communication skills that you do need.
Yeah, for sure.
And that kindness factor too, I think, is just like the friendly face and making people feel at ease. Those community segments were just such a great trading and breeding ground for my career.
Yeah, you have to be, I think, curious. You have to be friendly, and you brought all that every time. I was watching breakfast television. Devo's out in the street with a box of donuts and coupons, and people are in Toronto. They're walking by. They're looking at him like he's a hitchhiker with pets, right? It's like they just think that this is a hoax, and they're going to be, rounded up and put in a paddy wagon. Not everybody's comfortable on television, so it's interesting.
Even the thing too is, even in the streets of Toronto too, is because there's always seems to be a catch. If somebody's like chasing you down on the sidewalk and they're giving you something, it's like, great, but
yeah,
okay, what do I got to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? So we just aired those good deeds, and that's going to be a thing that we're going to be doing on the show, because that's what the show is all about. The breakfast television and the new version of it with myself and Dina and Devo and Karen Ciolin and everybody that's involved in it. Melanie Ng, who was in today, is just bringing on those good vibes and those that lighthearted spirit. Because listen, we're going to have news on there, and all of the stuff that's going on in the news, and we got that covered. But when it comes out of that, sometimes you just want to have a laugh and a smile and see what silly things Dina and I are doing or even talking about, and getting into topics that like anybody can participate in from home.
I think it's so important, because news today, it's a punishing experience for a lot of us, we're really getting hammered. It's a relentless water torture of things happening south of the border that affect us. And so the morning shows seem to be a haven, an oasis of community and much more upbeat things, reports on things that are happening, the boat and motorcycle show and everything else that's coming up. So you must find, audiences are much have warmed up to that experience compared to the hard newscasts.
Well, because even I'm coming from at CH, I was doing the news, right? So then you got to switch from the kind of the newscaster aspect to silly and zaniness. Yeah. And obviously I'm able to do that, but then you don't want to lose credibility if you're talking about a serious story and then getting into something a little bit silly. Yeah. So it is nice in this element, in this new role that I have, that I am kind of just focusing on the fun aspect, and Karen Ciolin and her news team kind of tackle everything we need to know when it comes kind of to the world stuff.
Absolutely. No, people need to know, and they need to.
Sure. Yeah. You need to you just got to, and I think I'm just dropping something here. You need to know. I've always described morning television as just a set of bunny ears, and just talking to that single person, and those generally. I know what my household. Well, I don't know what my household is like because I'm not there. But there's three kids, and my wife. We're trying to get them ready for school, and there's a lot of running around, and the show's on in the back. But the goal of our show, when I've been involved in anything, is just trying to get those bunny ears up. the bunny ears are down, busy doing something. But if you're able to get those bunny ears up just for a short amount of time, no matter what you're doing, if you're giving away something, or if you're dancing badly or singing badly, or just talking about something, I think that could just kind of help somebody's day just a little bit.
It's an art for sure. Back in a moment with Tim Bolen. What's new this month on Paramount Plus? Well, first up, dive into the intricate web of a powerful crime family in the Paramount Plus original series, Mobland, from Guy Ritchie. Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, and Joanne Froggatt all star. In mid-April, catch the premiere of The Carters, Hurts to Love You. This two-part documentary looks back at teen heartthrobs Nick and Aaron Carter. Their story is told by Aaron's twin sister, Angel, who unpacks the complicated family dynamics that led to the untimely death of 3 of the original 5 Carter kids, as well as their father. Speaking of music documentaries, Paramount Plus has the season 2 premiere of Family Legacy, which offers a peek inside the lives of influential musicians and bands through the lens of their close family members. This season features interviews with relatives of Busta Rhymes, Lil Wayne, Rob Thomas, Daddy Yankee, Lil Jon, and more. There's not little about this month on Paramount Plus. There's lots for the entire family. Check it out. Time once again to check in with Emily Gagne to see what's new on Hollywood Suite. Emily, what do you got?
Well, this month, Bill, we've got a new episode of Cinema A to Z, which is our original series. And the topic this time is acting debuts.
Acting. So these are the first films of some famous stars. Go ahead and quiz me. Throw a name at me, see if I can get the film.
How about Barbra Streisand?
Oh, that's The Mirror Has Two Noses. Is that no. It's Funny Girl.
Yes, yes. Okay. A little further back. All
right. Okay. Well, that sounds pretty good. What else do you have coming up this month?
Well, we've got National Canadian Film Day, April 16th. So we've got Canadian films all day. But if you are in more of a, funny mood, it's April Fool's Day. We've got our LOL collection, got comedies from throughout cinematic history, everything from, The 7-Year Itch to Caddyshack to Liar Liar to The Nice Guys, which I think is an underrated comedy.
Oh, that's a funny film. Well, that sounds great. Looks like a good time to laugh in Canada on Hollywood Suite. Thanks very much, Emily.
Thank you, Bill.
And we're back. Listen, your 3 kids were the ones who greeted you on that opening when you were introduced on breakfast television. My goodness, they're adorable, Tim. The one girl, what a ham bone. She's I hope you have an agent for this lass. She's the youngest, and we'll have to keep an eye on her. And
it's interesting too, just having kids and seeing them grow up and. Yeah. And they've all grown up. Like, Dad has been doing this since were born, so they're used to. They don't care about TV. They're just like, can we turn to something else?
Right.
But also over the time on those community shoots, like, we would need kids, and they were the ones that we tapped.
That's so awesome.
They're not really shy when it comes to the TV stuff, and they know what they kind of have to do, and not. I want them to be themselves, and I'm not telling them what to say.
Yeah.
But I was proud in that video where they just were themselves, because Pippa, my oldest, just said, just be yourself. And if you're nervous, that's good, because it shows that it means something to you. And that's what we've always told her. So for them to be able to reciprocate that. And my little guy, Gage, is saying, be kind, because that's the most important thing. And he said that too. So be kind on air, but also to everybody else off air. Like, we're a big family here, and you just have to, everybody has to get along for it to work. And then young Fifi, her name's Ophelia, but we call her Fifi, and she's 6, and she's something else, and she's got a little spunk to her, and maybe a little dad's showmanship.
Yeah, no, it was sweet and moving, really. It was very cool. And now, Tim, tell me how this happened. Did you get a call out of the blue? When did you find out that there was an opportunity?
Yeah, it was in the new year. And you're just always thinking too about, even though we had made the move and you're just always interested in what's going on out there, you're tapped in. And then I have connections a little bit to the show because I've worked with Kevin Forget, who's my supervising producer. I've worked with him in the past, and he knows my style. He knows what I'm like on and off camera. So there was just kind of a connection not all that long ago. So this all kind of came together pretty quickly. And I'm not going to put timelines on it, but it came together pretty quickly. And then I had to be making the decision of like, is this something that I want to do, and leaving something that I'm so familiar with and that I could continue with. And my old team is like a family to me, as I said, like Annette is my work wife, and having to move on from that is just one of those decisions that is tough, and it's a risk. But if you don't do that risk, how would it look to my kids? Like if something comes up, and you have to have the courage to make a jump sometimes.
Absolutely. Risk is everything for sure. You look back, it's the ones you don't take. So good for you. Pretty awesome. Yeah. Working for Rogers now, do you get Blue Jays tickets? Come on. This has got to be there's got to be some benefits.
Well,
to this,
as a big Blue Jays fan, yeah, I don't get them. They don't still get handed to me, but no. I'm still kind of finding my way around here too. Billy. I don't even know. I don't want to be asking too many questions. No. I just throw the party line for the next little bit. But yeah, I'll be down there. I was leaking the other night with some people, just kind of introducing myself to a lot of people, and I'm sure I'll be down at the Rogers Center too, because you want to be able to tell those stories on air too. You know what I mean? And just
absolutely.
Like that's what it's all about. It's opening weekend for the Blue Jays, so I'm hoping that the kids and I can head down there this weekend to kind of check in and hopefully bring them some luck.
I remember when I started at the Sun way back, 1999, I think it was. They 2 days later, they took us as a group, the entertainment department, to a box to see the Leafs, probably. And I thought, wow, this is like it doesn't get any better. My goodness. I turned to Bruce Kirkland, who had been there for 25 years, the film critic. Bruce, how often does this happen? He goes, well, let's see. This is the second time for me. It just happened. It was, but it was perks for sure.
The perks. I think the perks they're going to be working for a big company. Yeah, there's perks there. You just can't take advantage of them, and you just gotta be grateful for them. So it's pretty neat.
Are there guests that you look forward to interviewing on breakfast television? Are there people you think, wow, I'll have a chance to talk to these people now?
Well, there was one the other day that was Hazel May. As a big baseball fan, to be able to talk to to be able to talk to Hazel, because I've never met her before, but now she's a member of the family. So I think like working for a big company like this and having access to more folks. Because in Hamilton, sometimes we weren't able to access a lot of people because they might not want to come all the way to Hamilton. So working with people within the family, and that's going to be a big one of the big reasons where I had to take the leap.
And were there people that you television? Obviously, your whole business, your life has been a part of this. Who did you watch when you were younger? Were there shows or presenters or hosts or just people that you really thought, wow, there's somebody to watch, and that's something I'd like to do?
The funniest thing right now is I'm sitting in, because we share an area with Hockey Night in Canada and like with Sportsnet.
Wow.
So like I'm sitting in a room where they all come and watch all the games, like all the TVs are behind me, and like everybody sits here and stuff.
Nice. Wow.
And like as being a big sports fan, and like Hockey Night in Canada, for any kid who's a fan of sports, or any kid, let's be honest, it's just the iconic brand. And my entire life, there's been one person that's been the face of it, and that's Ron.
Yeah.
So watching Ron and the way he does things over his entire career, and now being able to share a dressing room with him, is pretty neat. Now, I don't see him because we work the complete opposite hours.
That's true.
So even any of the hockey guys, I don't really see, because we're out of here when they're coming in. But anybody within the within the hockey world. Strombo was a big influence on me too, George Strombolopoulos, because he had a different style and kind of did it his own way. And I find I kind of like, you just have to trust in your own style and your own attitudes. And it was really neat to be able to look up to Strombo. And then I got to know Strombo because we both play on the same hockey team.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for years and years and years, that was a bummer about me moving out of the city, because I play on this hockey team called Hack, and he was a member of the team.
It was called Hack?
Well, it used to be remember Chart Magazine? Yeah. Chart Magazine back in the day, we were the Chart Attack Hack. And then when the magazine went away, then we were the Bose Beer Hack, and now they're just the Hack. And we played up at Upper Canada College every Saturday night. Oh, nice. So I was on the team for 20 years. Oh my goodness. I had to say goodbye to those guys. It was just too far to make the commute in. But being able to meet somebody that you looked up to like Strombo, and it would always give me great advice, and then he was even hosting the New Year's show at CH this year. So to be able to interview him on my show was really neat to have that come full circle.
Yeah, I always have been a fan of Ron McLean. He's a lovely guy, and anytime I needed a quote or anything, could not have been more accommodating, and so certainly a real gentleman. So good that you have that opportunity. Well, listen, Tim, you've been very generous with your time here. I know you have to get to that nap.
The Friday nap, so I can have a weekend. That's always the interesting one. Listen, Bill, let me just say this. It's just been an honor to get to know you, and like I'm just like, you're the best in the biz in what you do, and still continuing to do it. And like, for when I did read that you had suggested me, that was a real honor. That you had thought of me, and kind of thought that I was up to snuff for a role like this. So thank you so much, Bill.
You're very welcome, Tim. It wasn't rocket science. That was sort of staring me in the face. You do such a great job in what you do, and you just bring all those things to it that I think is important for viewers in the morning, and energy, So when I look at breakfast television now, I watched in half an hour, you had each segment was boom, boom, boom. You had a director of a wrestling documentary who didn't even have time to put her top on properly. She was still on the air.
Melanie Ng was saying, "Woo, I almost wore the same thing."
But there's a lot going on, and you need to not just be on television. You need to be a traffic cop and very aware. And so those are gifts that you don't get unless you've done 13 years in the morning. So you bring a lot to it, and your personality works perfect. So congratulations, Tim.
Thanks, buddy.
It's a good work. So good luck with everything. Break legs, and hope you find another hockey team.
Yeah, let's go Hack, Hamilton Hack, I guess. That's what it's going to be.
There you go, Ancaster.
Ancaster Hack. Listen, thanks, Bill, and everybody here appreciates all the support from everybody out there, and keep watching, because there's a lot of exciting things to come.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tim. Take care. My thanks once again to Tim Bolen, and wishing he and Dina Pugliese much success at Citytv. Thanks to podcast producer Phil Hong, who might be the only person I know who gets up earlier than Tim Bolen. Kudos, as always, to BJ Del Conte, Paul Boudra, and all the crispy critters, plus piano man Stephen Dudley, for the music heard on these episodes. Finally, thanks to you, listener. If you liked what you heard, spread the word. I'm Bill Brio. Thanks for listening.